Hello, everybody, and welcome to CeleXy's Temple of TruAgeTruThot, where we encourage you to work out your own salvation. Now, today I am coming to you live because, as usual, I have some really exciting, elevating, and expanding information to share with you. Basically, just things that I've come to recognize with my real eyes and revelations that have been explained, I guess, in the recesses of my mind, like taking in information and processing it through every aspect of my being and determining what that information means to me, and then how can I best share the information with my friends and family. And those of you who are following me on this page, it is my desire to help set the tone for growth and elevation, such that you all will reach higher frequencies and vibrate on a higher level within our universe and this current existence. So I don't have a real format today because there's a lot of things going through my mind as a result of me gleaning information from other sources, and then again that processing that goes on within me, that whole integration, finding out how these pearls of wisdom and these tools that I've acquired, how they fit with who I am today. And so what I want to talk to you about today is how many of us are in this phase where we're literally waiting to exhale. So on that note, if you will with me, just take a deep breath through your nose, breathe in and breathe out. One more time, breathe in and breathe out. Inhale, exhale. Now, you're probably thinking, Celeste, CeleXy, Tina, what does this have to do with me? Why are you having me breathe in and breathe out? And why is the title of this video Waiting to Exhale? And I'm going to get into that. But before I do, I just want to talk to you about a few movies that are available right now on Netflix, Amazon Prime, and maybe some other platforms that we have available to you. So I'm going to, kind of touch on some of these movies or shows. And also I recommend that you watch them, but don't watch them until you finish this entire video, because what I want you to do is to view these films with an open mind and with the expectation to receive. And so basically I kind of want to set the foundation for your viewing pleasure, so that when you do view these films and you're looking to extract the pearls of wisdom that are locked up or woven in the films, you'll be right in the vibration that you need to be to get the most out of the information that is going to be shared with you. So one of my favorite shows that I started watching, I believe the end of last year, and it's actually been discontinued on Netflix, and it's called the OA, and the OA stands for the Original Angel. This show, and I'm not going to tell you the whole thing, but basically it is about getting in tune with yourself, being in tune with every aspect of who you are. And I'm just going to leave it at that, because I want you to watch it through your own lens and discern what resonates with you, what you're going to take with you from the film. Now, it is one of those films that if you're open and you start watching it, you're probably going to binge watch. So I suggest, because it's 2 seasons, I suggest, you wait for a weekend, when you don't have anything else planned, because once you start watching it, you're not going to be able to stop. So it's one of those Netflix and chill type of things, okay? So the OA. Then there's another movie called Seven in Heaven, and I think it's either on Amazon Prime or Netflix, but either way, there's also some really occult or hidden pearls of wisdom and tools in there. Same thing. Same thing. Get in tune with yourself, right? So I need you to watch that. Bird Box. Another one of those shows where you're like, what the heck is going on? Well, your girl CeleXy is here to tell you that there is a lot going on, and it is literally going on inside of you. Okay, so that's what Bird Box is all about. And again, I'm not going to tell you the details of that show either, because if you haven't watched it, I need you to watch it. If you've already watched it, I need you to watch it again with a new set of eyes, or this eye. Okay, so watch it with the intent to extract information that resonates with you. There's another show that I was recommended to watch called, or a movie from 1982 called The Dark Crystal. Now, a young lady that I follow on YouTube under Lucid Living, her name is Aset. She's fabulous. A 36-year-old beautiful Black woman with dreads who is very enlightened. I consider her a sister in every right, a divine sister, and she is full of light and full of information as well. We are definitely on the same frequency, and so if you're into watching or gleaning anything from YouTube, then I suggest that you follow Lucid Living. Also, if you haven't seen the movie Us yet, I just recently watched it and was just floored at the occult meaning or the hidden information. It's really not hidden. I mean, Jordan Peele is pretty much right in your face about what he's the message that he wants to get across. It's his intuition, his intention is clear as mud. And if you don't catch it, then like I said, watch it again with a new eye. Watch it again with a new eye, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed. You will feel your frequency elevating even as you're watching the film from a different perspective, right? Okay, and then finally, there's another show, I believe it's also on Netflix, called Mother. That's another one you should watch. Watch it again with that other eye and extract the information from that. Again, I'm just touching base on it because I really want you guys to, go and watch it for yourselves, because what you require or what you get may not be the same thing as what I got, and what you get is based on where you are now and who you are, and it's for you. It's specifically for you. So I don't want to shadow or overshadow that information that is specifically and unique to you. So that's why I'm not really going to go into those films. However, I will say, if you're following me on this page on Facebook or on my YouTube channel, you definitely want to go ahead and watch those films, because there is something in it for you. Excuse me. Now, I did want to plug another person that I watch on YouTube. His name is Seven Bomar. I've plugged him before. I've shared some of the links for Seven Bomar and Aset with Lucid Living on this page. Excuse me. Anyway, and so definitely plug into those individuals. Physically, I've never met either one of them. Spiritually and intuitively, they're my brother and sister all day long. We resonate on the same frequency, and I am so glad to be in the presence and the company of these individuals, both highly vibrational light beings. Okay, so let's get into it. Celeste, why is the name of this video called Waiting to Exhale? Basically, because if you know anything about physiology, and maybe just a little bit about physiology in your own body, when you inhale, your lungs expand, and your lungs actually have a round shape to them. They become round in nature when you inhale. When you breathe in the air, as my friend on Deep Divers says, or Infinite Waters, he says, breathe in that good ass prana, baby. So when you breathe in that good ass prana, your lungs expand, and your lungs, become inflated, and they're round like a balloon, okay, or like a globe. And when you exhale, your lungs collapse. They flatten out. Okay? Yeah, they flatten out. So, what the revelation that I got in that, as I was thinking about the whole physiology of how our lungs operate, and the whole big, there's been this huge presence of flat earthers rising up all over the world. And I too, not necessarily a flat earther, because I don't really want to put any of those labels on me, because what I've come to understand is that we're both a globe earth and a flat earth. And ironically, as a young person, very young, when I was, many of you know, I was raised in the traditional church, and I'm just gonna have conversation with you right now. This is not formal by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just gonna be real with you today, as we are waiting to exhale, right? So, as a young person, even in my understanding, well, I'm gonna say I was standing under the teachings of the Bible growing up, and of course I've continued to grow, and I've since left the traditional church and the Christian upbringing and the Bible. However, the Bible hasn't left me, and when I say the Bible hasn't left me, I mean there are concepts, analogies, stories, parables, myths, and everything that I've gleaned from that scripture, as well as many other books that I've read that have value, that help me to understand who I am, to assist me in knowing myself, knowing thyself. And so I can't discount any of that. I always say, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, because there is value in everything, because everything comes from source. So even if you don't realize it, even if you don't see it, even if you don't feel it, it just means it's not for you at that moment in time. Doesn't mean that it has no value at all. Okay, so it is up to us to be the filter, to glean and extract from the information and the sources of information that which resonates with us spiritually, mentally, physically, vibrationally, and hold on to that, integrate it within you, and start to operate from that perspective. Okay, so as many times as I've read the Bible, and I've gone back and contemplated over a lot of the information about, how the world was in the beginning and everything. And I'm actually in the process of writing a book, sort of like my own in the beginning phenomena about how life came to be, and, all this stuff. But anyway, enough of that. You'll hear about that on Heaven's Mind. But what I want to say is that when I first became familiar with the whole flat earth phenomena, it was around the time that I was watching a show, and I don't remember what network this show was on, but it was called Under the Dome or whatever. And as I was watching this show, I was having like this deja vu or memory of something, and it reminded me that, based on the scripture about, the firmament, over the earth, over the land and the sea and all that, this firmament, I always had this concept of a dome or whatever. And of course, like many of you, I grew up in a traditional education, and we were taught that the world is this globe. However, as I was watching that show and then reflecting back on the scripture, I started to understand how so many people can believe in a flat earth. Well, I have operated as a nurse, that's my profession in this world. And because of that, I have this background in education and physiology, biology, and anatomy, and all that sort of thing. So that's where you're going with all this. Long story short, I realized that the earth is a globe sometimes, and it is also flat sometimes. It is not both at any time. And if you saw my video last week or the week before last, and I talked about the cycles, well, the earth does that as well. The earth has its cycles too. And so it has a period when it is inhaling, which is expansion, there's more a greater surface area. When Mother Earth inhales, takes in that good ass prana, baby, right? When she takes in that big dose of oxygen, that big dose of O2, the surface area expands. And so that's on a macrocosm that the earth expands. And then when it exhales, it flattens out. And I'm like, oh my God, I figured it out. Like probably I'm like the last person to figure it out. And it's okay. Doesn't matter when you figure it out, as long as you figure it out, right? But I'm here to help you or propel you so that you don't even have to figure it out. All you have to do is contemplate it. And if it agrees with your inner spirit, then you're moving on to the next level, right? So yes, so the earth, just like us, just like our body, inhales O2, our lungs expands, it increases the surface area. That's how so many people can sing so well and swim so well, because they're able to, inhale and hold this breath, and you can do all these things as you allow your lungs to expand. And that is what Mother Earth is doing. She's in an expansion cycle right now. Well, just like I said earlier, there's a cycle where she's going to exhale. Okay? Exhale. Now, maybe to you that exhale has a negative vibration, but I'm here to tell you that it is completely opposite of what you might think. The exhalation is a positive vibration. The exhalation is a positive vibration. And let me explain to you why that is. So as Mother Earth has expanded, so have we. So is above, so below, so within, so without. Whatever happens in the macrocosm happens on the microcosmic level. What happens on the microcosmic level happens on the macrocosmic level. So as Mother Earth expands, so do we. And again, like I said before, we expand and we exhale and inhale in cycles as well. So for some of us, we are also in a period of expansion. Let me tell you what goes on in expansion. When we expand, there's all these different versions of us. I recently adopted this new phrase, and it's so funny because I've read some other things in I'm not the first one to have this revelation, but I personally, I was born under the sign of Cancer, June 24th, under the waning gibbous moon at 3:30 a.m. And I am a jack of all trades. Like, I literally can pretty much do anything I set my mind to. I may not become a master at it. I may not even be the best at it, but I am capable of doing a multitude of things. Like, I have this enormous skill set, right? Well, I'm a jack of all trades, but I'm a master of one. I'm a master of one. And the mastery that I've acquired is mastery over this temple. I have worked out my salvation, or I am still in the process of working out my own salvation. And what that means is, because we're in this period of expansion, and there's all these different versions of us, right? During the Earth's cycle of expansion, many of us, I'm not saying everybody, because everybody doesn't, and because we all operate in cycles, and some of our cycles are not the same. Just like when you go to do your laundry, some people's cycle is delicate, and so it's a shorter cycle, and some people's cycles are, extremely dirty, or a high amount of soil content or whatever, and so that cycle might be 53 minutes as opposed to the delicate cycle, which is 23 minutes. So we're on different cycles, right? So some people are in expansion, some people are in more of a contraction, or some people are in inspiration and some people are in exhalation. Okay, and all these different cycles are going on even within the earth cycle of expansion or inspiration. That's why you have all these inspirational speakers. Even I am considered an inspirational speaker. However, because of my own transformation, because of my mind's transmutation, I consider myself to be a transformational inspirational speaker. Transformational and inspirational. Transformatively inspiring. That is me. That is what I do. That is why I share this information and content with you. I seek to equip you with the foundation to both transform and to inspire you to elevate simultaneously, because we need to kind of get on the move with that, right? Okay, so again, as we're in that inspiration mode or that expansion mode, there's all these different versions of us, and we're probably good at a lot of things, but we're not the best at really anything. But we know enough and we can do enough to kind of get along or whatever. Within those different versions of you, there's also some versions of you that you don't utilize very often. I remember some years ago when I was dating this young man, and when I met him, I was like, God, it's like 8 different versions of this guy, right? Like he's complex, he's multiplicity, right? And the longer I stayed with him, though, I did start to see some of those versions of him begin to merge together. But by the time we split up, there was still like about 4 versions of him. But anyway, it's okay, because there was probably 9 versions of me, right? So yeah, I'm not judging by any stretch of the imagination. However, even me being a jack of all trades, master of one, did not operate in a lot of my versions. So I'm gonna say that those versions, the lower vibrating versions, the versions of you that you don't want anybody else to see, the versions of you that you don't even want to see, those shadow versions, those more earth versions, more your fight or flight, so okay, let me make it plain. Many of you know that I have these chakras tattooed on my back, and in the chakras, there's like 7 chakras. However, there's 7 chakras, but they're like 3 divisions. And the irony in it is that there's 7 chakras, right? So that's an odd number. So you can't divide that by 3, right? So which ones are which ones are grouped together for a category, or to be 1/3 of the 7, 1/3 of the 3, right? So the lower chakras, which is your root chakra, which is your fight or flight, what keeps you grounded, keeps you stable on your feet, active on your feet, quick on your feet. Your root chakra, which is represented by the color red, and then there's your sacral chakra. That's all your reproductive system, your sexual energy, your creative energy. That's represented by the color orange. And then there's your solar plexus. Many people say it's the seat of the soul. It's what fine-tunes you to the planetary system. Your solar plexus, your sun, your soul, your spirit is in that realm just at the navel. Some people say that's where your intuition comes from. It's your gut reaction to something. A gut reaction is when you do something without reasoning in it or talking about it or trying to explain yourself. You just know instinctively it's something you have to do. That's your gut. That's your solar plexus, represented by the color yellow. Okay, so those 3 entities, which is below the waist line, represent 1 division. Okay, and then right here in the center, right in the middle, is your heart. It's represented by the color green, ironically, because we always relate the color red to love and like the Valentine and all that stuff. But the heart is it's not really red unless it's filled with blood. But anyway, so the heart chakra represents the color green, like an emerald green, or the emerald green represents the heart chakra, and that is a division all by itself. Okay, and then there is your throat chakra, which is a light blue color. Then it's your third eye, which is a darker blue, and then your crown chakra is purple. or amethyst. Okay, so your throat chakra, third eye, and your crown chakra make up that third division. So even though there's these, and there's multiple energy cycles within our body, but the 7 that I'm talking about are like the main 7. They're like the ascended masters, so to speak. They are they're the boss. So, but of those 7 chakras, it's divided into 3 divisions. And so you have your lower region, your center or mid region, and then your higher region, or lower, middle, and upper. Kind of like how Egypt is split up, like upper and lower Egypt. And they don't really talk about that center, or you don't hear too much about the middle. But anyway, so with the chakras, or the energy cycles within our body, there's the lower region, the middle region, which is the heart, and then the upper region, which is the third eye, throat chakra, and the crown. Okay, so let's, again, where are you going with this? So there are some versions of you that operate on the lower regions, and the lower regions are kind of like hell, I guess, and the upper regions are like heaven, and then the heart is kind of like the center, what brings everything together. If you stray too far off here, you've heard people say you're so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good. Well, yeah, that's because you stay up in the clouds all the time. And then there's some times where you're just a hellish being, right? So you're operating out of your lower chakras, or your lower region, the hellish region. Okay, and then the heart helps you kind of bring those 2 polarities together so that you're more centered. Now, obviously, just like a serpent, just like the wave, the flow of the ocean, or whatever, we're in and out of those regions all the time. Sometimes we're very centered, we're very focused, we operate with clarity, no doubt about what it is you're doing, what it is you're thinking, or what it is you're saying, right? And then other times you're way up in the clouds, and other times you're all the way down there in hell. Well, those versions of you, there's multiple, right? So you have all these different versions of you. You have that crown version of you that's completely spiritual, completely, life is wonderful, peaceful, blissful, I'm so happy, woo, yay. Okay, you have that, and then you got that third eye, you just reaping knowledge. Oh my God, yeah, I know this, I know that, I don't have to believe because I know I've had the experience. You got that version of you, and then you got the throat chakra area, that version of you that's talking, and maybe the talking is in sharing information or whatever the case may be, but and I'm very, very talkative, clearly. And so there's that version of you, and that might manifest or express in a whole different way. It may not even be talking, okay? And then you have the heart chakra, the giver. You're so loving and you love everybody, and it's about giving. And then maybe sometimes if you're mature, you've also allowed yourself to be in receive mode as well, because if you're giving all the time, at some point you need to receive something back. So that's that heart chakra. And then you have your solar plexus, that one that it's spontaneous, the risk taker, that's like, hey, let's do this with no planning. That's your your intuition, your gut. There's that version of you, and you might not see that person very often if you're not taking risks. Yeah, you're not operating from that perspective or from that version of you, but there is a version of you that exists like that, even if you don't allow them to come out and play. And then there's that sacral region, that that sexy vibing. I can create anything. I have these loving relationships, or very sexual relationships, or whatever the case may be. There's that aspect of you. And then there's that root chakra, that ride or die chick or guy, right? You don't let him come out too often. He doesn't have to come out until you absolutely can't do whatever it is you need to do without it, right? So, we have these different versions of us. Some of them we let them come out all the time. Some of them we only let them come out once in a while. Again, Celeste, what the hell are you talking about? And why is this video called Waiting to Exhale? So, in the expansion, inspiration, whenever you think about inspiration, most of us that have any sort of religious background or spiritual background, when you think of the word inspire, there's some high vibration that resonates with that. Inspire, it's godlike in nature, right? So you could say that in the expansion or in the inspiration, we're like, you could say that we're in heaven, but maybe not. That could be a misnomer. But you have all these expanded versions of yourself, right? Multiple versions of you. And sometimes you're operating together and sometimes not. And honestly, probably the majority of the time they're not. Because we all, we've all been programmed and trained to put our best foot forward. So we only allow people to see the best versions of us, right? Think about that while I take a sip of coffee. We only allow people to see those best versions of us, and only because when we show them those other versions of us, they're not received very well, and so again, that's learned behavior. You've not received the outcomes or the results that you've wanted to achieve when you've shared those other versions of you, so you keep them locked away. Okay, so what if I told you that right now the earth is in inspiration, expanded, we're looking like a globe, right? But the time is coming where the earth is going to exhale, and I meant EXHELL, EXHE double hockey sticks, right? Exhale. The earth literally is going to expel the hell out of it. I love that. That just came to me. I love when I get caught up in this, right? So that just came to me. The earth, Mother Earth, with her beautiful, loving, luscious, green, oxygenated, spirit-filled self, is literally going to expel and exhale out of it. She's going to kick hell out of her. And I know you know what I'm talking about, because a lot of people are walking around here, especially with the mass shootings and all the other craziness that's going on in the world, and we're like, what the hell is going on? That's exactly what's going on. Hell is going on. We are in hell on earth. So even though Mother Earth is in this inspiration mode, she's expanded, her body surface area is massive, right? And so we see all these different versions of ourselves. Some we acknowledge and some we don't, but that is the reason why we're experiencing hell on earth. So when Mother Earth exhales, she is going to expel the hell out. What does that mean for you on a microcosmic level? It means that all those different versions of you, so whether you push them together, top to the bottom, from side to side, it doesn't matter, even at an angle, all those different versions of you are going to collapse on themselves. So it's no longer going to be, the upper Celeste and the lower Celeste and the centered Celeste. It's just going to be one me, one temple, unified, merged together in synchronicity, singularity, all those catchwords that you've been hearing thrown all over the place if you're listening to or partaking in any type of awakening, spiritual awakening or enlightening or anything. If you're studying or you're a student of any of the higher spiritual matters, you've heard those catchwords. Yes, so your expanded version of you. Think of yourself as this accordion. I wish I had an accordion or something. I should have made some paper and folded it up or whatever. But anyway, if you saw yourself as this expanded accordion type person, or even like in the movie Us, they show the cutouts with the representing hands across America. Just take a section of that, and maybe 7 of those little bodies represent the 7 different versions of you, right? Well, imagine those 7 different versions of you collapsing on themselves. I posted a video the other day that I stole off of Jada Pinkett's page. Well, I didn't steal it. I just borrowed it because she said I could share it, right? But there's a video of Jada Pinkett And she starts off like she's coming out of a stairwell or entering into a hallway or something, and she walks towards another version of herself. So the other version of herself is in this different pose, right? And she walks into that, and they collapse together. And then she walks into another version of herself, like I think she's sitting on a bench with her legs kicked up or something. She sits down and merges with that version of herself, and then she walks to another version of herself and merges. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Every version of you, and maybe it's only 7, maybe it's only 3. I'm down to 3, so I'm excited. You know, Tina, Celeste, and Celestine are merging together. Yay! I'm working on my own salvation, right? So maybe it's 3 of you, maybe it's 7 of you, maybe it's 9 of you, maybe it's 11. Heck, for some of y'all, it might be even 22 versions of you, right? It doesn't matter. As we move, as Mother Earth moves into exhalation, flat earth, all those different versions of you are going to merge together. Now, here's the kicker. Are you ready? Are you ready for it? Have you made peace with all those different versions of you? Have you accepted them? In the movie Us, the issue is that a family of beings have completely closed themselves off from their shadow half. So that, you know, the movie is representing 2 versions of the same person. When I tell you there are certain versions of us that you don't want to deal with, you don't want to see it, and you don't want others to see it either, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Here's the other revelation I had. I was sharing with a friend of mine the other day that when Donald Trump but when I had the opportunity to see Donald Trump during a debate or something like that back in 2015, I had this vibration that I could not explain. And of course, that was 4 years ago. And so I couldn't explain it, but it wasn't a good vibe and it wasn't a bad vibe. It was just kind of I'm going to just say it was a balanced vibration. And it didn't make sense because, I mean, I didn't know very much about Trump beyond the fact that he had that show and he was a billionaire and all that stuff. Didn't know very much about him at all. However, as I began to watch his antics when he was running for president and everything, I still had this vibration that I couldn't seem to shake. And while everybody was like, you know, oh, we don't want Donald Trump to become president. And then, of course, there were another cycle of people who was like, yay, Donald Trump is going to become president. And then he wins the election. And, you know, we've seen all this negative versions, all these negative versions of him, right? And in addition to seeing negative versions of him, we've also seen negative versions of, guess who? Ourselves. Nobody will want to admit that. But I will tell you this. One of the things that I have recognized with my one eye is that Donald Trump being in office has literally exposed some of those shadow versions of us that we did not want to deal with, that we didn't want to let out of the closet, that we did not want exposed. But he literally, I'm not even convinced that what he's doing is not an act. You know, as I'm talking to my girlfriend yesterday, I'm like, you know what? I honestly think what Donald Trump is doing is an act. Like this is the ultimate reality show, right? Donald Trump as president. It's the ultimate reality show. And what he is doing is exposing everybody. He's showing you his shadow self. He's exposing other people's shadow self as they either support him or they're against him. It doesn't matter, because some of us, as we express our distaste of him, we're completely oblivious to the fact that we got some of that same darkness residing within us. Oh, baby, yes. Some of you are not going to like to hear this. Some of you don't even want to hear this. Some of you have probably already cut me off by this point, right? Because you're like, what is she talking about and where is she getting to? Oh, I'm telling you, what Donald Trump is doing, and Many of the programs that we have watched where we feel like this, some of his actions or some things that have happened both in Hollywood and in the political world that they were predicted or prophesied or foretold or whatever, and now is coming to pass. Oh, baby, trust and believe. This is a part of the programming. What is going on in Hollywood and in politics is it is an effort to get specifically all of America, if not the entire world, but since I only reside in America, and that's kind of the gist of my vision. But America is like the example for the rest of the world, right? We're kind of like the prototype or the pretotype for every other country. So what is going on in America is Hollywood and our government are literally forcing us to surrender. I don't know about you, but I'm so excited. Forcing you to surrender to every version of yourself. It is in accepting every aspect of who you are, the good, the bad, and the ugly, that you literally achieve your highest state of being. This is working out your salvation. This is forcing you to look at the dark side of the moon. This is forcing you to accept and embrace your shadow side, your dark side. I had a friend of mine earlier this summer say, girl, there's this aspect of you that is loving and beautiful and wonderful and sweet, but then there's another aspect of you that's like, run, because Tina got her bazooka gun, right? Run, because Tina is pissed and she's coming for you. So he literally was like, there's two versions of you. And I'm, secretly, without him knowing, because I don't think he was ready for that. But for me, hearing that from him was like, oh my God, the merge is occurring. Because up until that point, I was like, there's still these three versions of me. There's Celestine, the bright, intelligent, educated one, and then there's Tina, the one that carried all the memories of any and everything that ever pissed her off or made her mad or whatever, the baby, the crybaby, but also the we'll kick your ass version. For lack of a better phrase. But yeah, Tina and Celeste. But there was CeleXy. So what he didn't realize that he was sharing with me is that at least CeleXy and Celestine had merged together. And by letting me know that he saw these two aspects of me, for me, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm down to two. It was three, now I'm down to two. And so the two of us are becoming one. And I'm going to say CeleXy represents my feminine side. And Tina, tough as nails, Tina toes, represents my masculine side. And the two are merging together and they're becoming one. So why is this good news? Why is the fact that we're about to, that Mother Earth is about to exhale, about to expel the hell out of Earth? What is so wonderful about that? For those of you who are searching for your soulmate, your twin flame, your significant other, your life partner, whatever you want to call it, and you haven't discovered them, look within. Look within you. Maybe that which you have searching for, seeking for, looking for, knocking for, begging for, craving for, desiring and wanting, maybe all the time, the reason why you find yourself single at this particular time is because that which you have longed for is inside of you. Sorry. Ooh, I wish y'all knew what that looked like and what it felt like. Well, you've seen what it looks like, but I wish you could have felt it too. Anyway, yeah. That other aspect, that twin flame, that soulmate, that everything that's going to make you feel whole and complete, baby, has always been inside of you. And for those of you who are in a partnership, marriage, relationship, whatever the case may be, if you don't recognize that you are whole, that you are one, that all those versions of you are collapsing upon themselves and making you whole with or without another individual, step back. Step back. You know, even that Bible says that, you know, there's a time when a man and a woman should even take some time from each other. That is so that they can individually achieve wholeness. My brother Savon Bomar always, you know, starts and begins with wholeness, balance, and vibrations. Well, I totally concur. I wonder what that is as one entity. Wholeness, balance, and vibrations. What does that look like? Is it possible that as wholeness, balance, and vibration even comes together, collapses upon itself, and becomes that single point or singularity, that single point of focus, that 2020 vision? Is it possible that wholeness, balance, and vibration is all those aspects of you coming into center? The narrow gate, feminine and masculine, meeting each other from the east and the west and coming to the center, from the north and the south and coming to the center to unite as one, so that when Mother Earth expels the hell out, we are left with Eden. Even. Sorry. The mind freak in me is vibrating on a very, very, very high frequency, and I just had another mindgasm. Yes. Oh, I wish y'all could come and go with me, vibrate with me, get on this level of frequency with me. This stuff is good, y'all. I just wish you could taste it. You know, we talked about in the traditional church, oh, taste and see that God is good. Yes, when you discover the God, the divinity within you, it's good. It's real good. So when we can move into that period of exhalation, when Mother Earth expels the hell out, how wonderful it's going to be. Now, I don't know how long we're going to be in that cycle, but I will tell you this, based on what I've gleaned from some of my other enlightened spiritual brothers and sisters, we can enter that period balanced, whole, and vibrating on a really high frequency, let's say fifth dimensional frequency, or you can refuse what's happening. You can refuse to listen to what I'm saying. You can refuse to see what I'm expressing. And for you, when Mother Earth expels the hell out, you may find yourself expelled with it. Now, this is not a threat. And it's okay, because you'll have another opportunity, right? There's always another opportunity to get it right, right? Always another opportunity to get it right. So this isn't the end for anyone. Well, okay, maybe it is the end for a lot of us, and it's the beginning for, you know, the rest of us. But we all cycle around. We all cycle around. So there's no judgment. I can't say I'm better than you because maybe you're not ready to merge together. You're not ready to collapse upon yourself. You're not ready to reach that point of singularity. It's okay. It's okay. You're not ready. It's just like, you know, it's time to get promoted from the 8th grade to the 9th grade, you know, to leave middle school to go to high school. Everybody ain't ready at the same time. Just because we went through 8th grade together does not mean you're ready to get promoted to 9th grade. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some of us require a little bit more time, a little bit more attention, a few more experiences, a few more opportunities to remember who we are, to remember ourselves together. It's okay. No shade, no tea. It just is what it is. However, if you are in fact finding yourself at the place of singularity, you see yourself, your different versions of you coming together, you're accepting your dark side, you're accepting your shadow side, and you're loving the child in you, and you're loving the adult in you, and you're loving, you know, you're just loving for the sake of loving. If you are at that point, then you, my dear, are ready for the exhalation. You are ready for flat earth. You are ready for that flat earth experience. And so if you've been a jack of all trades, master of one, just imagine how much power you're going to have when you collapse, when you allow yourself to merge as one. I know some of y'all are like, this chick is nuts. But when I tell you that I have literally spoke things into existence, that which I desire, that which I've envisioned has manifested, because I don't get caught up in the how or the when. And so I'm telling you that as well. Don't get caught up in the how or the when. Just know that it's always now, and do what you are equipped to do. Just do it. Don't focus on what you have or don't have. You don't even really have to focus on what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. Just be. Just be. Just be the perfect expression of you and begin to embrace all those aspects of yourself. That is how you get to that high mountaintop experience. We all want to be at the mountaintop when Mother Earth exhales, right? We all want to be at the mountaintop when that happens. The brother Donald Lawrence used to sing a song, I don't know, back in the early 2000s. Let's get back to Eden and live on top of the world, or something like that. Getting back to Eden is bringing Adam and Eve together. Oh, yes. Shout out to Lady Lou for that one. Yes. Getting back to Eden requires us, getting back to Eden, getting back to center of the earth, right? Getting back to that garden. Getting back there requires Adam and Eve to join together in holy matrimony. Oh, I can't make this stuff up. It's so good. It's so good. Waking up your unconscious, reprogramming your subconscious, and then consciously making the agreement to come together and operate as one entity, right? Dealing with that id and the ego and the super ego, bringing those aspects of yourself together. Getting that triangle and that circle, or that square and that circle to come together as one. I'm just seeing that looks like this, or maybe even like this. That triune, I think let me see. Oh, there it is. There it is. That triune. Some of y'all are like, what the hell is she talking about? Come on, y'all. I'm just saying. Bringing those opposing forces together, war and peace, bringing it together. Now don't get me wrong. Because of this, that serpent in the wilderness, the Ouroboros, the snake eating his tail. Ooh, for some reason, I don't know, not Bootsy Collins. Who came out? Dog chasing his tail. Y'all know who that artist is. I can't think of it right now. But anyway, yeah, bow, wow, wow, yippee-oh, yippee-yay. That, yes. It's time to come together. It's time to unite as one. It's time to bring those different polarities, the North Pole and the South Pole, together to create one pole. I know. Now I'm getting just, I'm high. I'm sorry. I'm high. I'm high on life. I'm high on knowledge. I'm high on wisdom. I'm high on joy. I'm high on peace. I'm high on revelation. I'm high on this frequency that we call life, because I know that what I'm sharing with you has value, but it only has value if you choose to use it, right? Take this hammer that I'm giving you and put it in your tool belt and begin constructing your ladder, your Jacob's ladder. Maybe one on each side, because one is representing the feminine and one is representing the masculine. You know, maybe you need to build a stairway on both sides so they come together. Or maybe when they come together, they appear to be this spiral staircase. I don't know. I just got a lot of stuff going through my mind right now, but I did want to come while I was full and share this information with you. Again, please, if you're into watching anything on YouTube, and I know you have to filter out a lot of mess, because just like we have fake news, there are some people on YouTube who really mean you no good. But again, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, because you can find pearls of wisdom in some of the most inconspicuous places. So again, the movies, okay, the two people you need to follow on YouTube, the channel is Lucid Living. Her name is Osset. And then Understanding, his name is Seven Bomar or James Bomar. You want to follow them. Also, one of my favorite people is Mr. Astro Theology. If you're into sacred geometry and astronomy and things like that, and you want to kind of bring that knowledge together to a single point, follow him. Santos Bonacci is his name. He's got a channel on YouTube. If you want to know more about the whole flat earth, globe earth phenomena, there's a brother out there by the name of Martin McKinney. Martin McKinney, you want to follow that young brother. He's on to something. And in the movies, the show, there's a series, 2 seasons, The OA, written by Britt Marling, and she is also the main character in the show. You're going to love it. I hate that they canceled it, but I believe she shared everything she needed us to know. 7 in Heaven, I believe that's on Netflix or Amazon Prime, one of the two. Google it, you'll find it. Same, it's a kind of a corny movie, but something in there for you. Bird Box, watch it again with a new set of, well, just with this eye. Or, okay, watch it through this eye, but feel it in here. Okay, bring it to center. Us, watch it again with another eye. Dark Crystal. And even, I don't know if I talked about this one too much, but Mother, the significance of Mother. And some of you might not like this, but the significance of Mother, the film Mother, is because what was done in the Bible with Eve and even Lilith, because both feminine energies, the female, the divine feminine, was suppressed, oppressed, and depressed. Literally, she is, she's a handmaid's tale. I mean, the feminine in the Bible, oh my God, it's nearly non-existent. Though she is the energy through whom all life comes forth, right? But even when you're reading the Old Testament, it's like, and Abraham begat Joseph, and Joseph begat this, and it's all these men who begat these children as though they gave birth to children, and we know that's not true. It's not even possible. Well, okay, I ain't gonna say it's not possible. However, in our current existence, in this timeline, okay, only women give birth to children, right? So the fact that the Bible pretty much suppresses the woman, even somebody posted on Facebook the other day that women are supposed to be silent. I think it was my girl Kelly. Yeah, what the hell? What the hell? That's why we're going to expel this shit. Mother Earth is like, I've had it. I've had enough. I am about to exhale this bull, the Bible, out of existence. I'm about to exhale it. And along with that, some other stuff too, right? Pretty much everything that I got behind me is symbolizing something that even Mother Earth is about to exhale. But there's this thing I say that before you can change the game, you first have to learn the game, and then you play the game. Then you have the power to change the game if you are observing and operating from a higher perspective, right? I think somebody just recently posted, even today, I think it was Alicia West made a comment about, coming to the table. Well, first you got to get to the table. You got to get on board. First, you got to get on board. If you ain't even on board, you might as well just keep your mouth shut, right? I think that's what my sister was saying. You can't talk about anything that's being done. You can't even begin to initiate change until you get on board or get a seat at the table. I'm telling you, with this information that I'm sharing with you and your willingness to look at the basket weavers, I'm calling the movie makers and the actors, I'm calling them basket weavers. Because sometimes when you want to get some information to someone, you have to hide it in plain sight in order to actually get it out to the masses. You have to hide it in plain sight. I call those people basket weavers. You know, when you look at the whole blanket, it's just a blanket. But if you start to focus on the details in the blanket, the energy, the hidden message, the love, the gnosis begins to speak to your spirit. That's what's going on. That's why we have all these shows and all these movies coming out with these messages. Just like Jesus is quoted as saying in the Bible, to he who has an ear, let him hear. To those who have eyes to see or an eye to see, let him see what the Spirit is saying. Do you have the ability to divine, to extract the information that is hidden in plain sight? There's a reason, there's a reason we got all this talk about going into 2020. 2020 vision, y'all. It's a point of singularity. Point of singularity. I'm supposed to be wearing glasses, but I can see just fine. Can you? Can you say the same thing? Watch those videos. Check out those movies. If you've already seen them, check them out again for the second time or maybe even the third time. Keep an open mind. Keep an open heart. And allow that information to consume you. Process it. Filter out what doesn't resonate. Embrace what does. And experience the elevation within. This has been your girl CeleXy from the Temple of TruAgeTruThot, where I share with you my thoughtology so that I can encourage you to develop your own thoughtology, working out our own salvation. I love you, love you, love you. Wholeness, balance, and vibrations. I'm looking forward to walking into the next cycle with you. Bye.